Do you ever feel like there aren't enough hours in the day? Or do you ever wonder how some people seem to accomplish so much in such a short amount of time? Well, today's video is for you. Today we're looking at English language to talk about productivity. In this video, we're going to explore lots of English phrasal verbs that you can use when you're talking about this subject, both in your professional and your personal life. Productivity is all about making the most of your time to achieve your goals effectively and efficiently. It's not just about working harder, it's about working smarter. And to be honest, as a serial procrastinator, which means somebody who procrastinates a lot, I sometimes struggle with productivity. In fact, I've just started reading this book by Ali Abdaal called Feel Good Productivity, which is all about finding joy in the process of getting things done, of being productive. There's a good chance that you've come across Ali Abdaal before. He's a big content creator here on YouTube. But just in case you haven't, I'll put a link in the description to his YouTube channel and also to Feel Good Productivity in case you want to have a read yourself. Anyway, inspired by this book, I want to introduce some really useful English phrasal verbs for talking about productivity and getting things done. First, I've got a challenge for you. I'm going to read a short piece of text and I want you to listen out for all the phrasal verbs related to productivity that you hear. Okay. Every morning I start off by writing down a to-do list of all the things I need to sort out and get done that day. Once I've mapped out my day and had another coffee, I dive into my work. Sometimes I need to figure out a plan to deal with unexpected challenges. When I come across a tough problem, I break it down into smaller parts. If I'm feeling overwhelmed, I take a break to clear my mind and then get back to work. I also check in with my team regularly to make sure we're all on the same page. To wrap up my day, I go over what I've accomplished and plan for the next day. If something doesn't go as planned, I always try to work out a solution. I also make sure to follow up on any pending tasks, reach out to colleagues for support and set up meetings for the next day. How did you get on? Don't worry if you didn't catch all the phrasal verbs. We're going to go over them together. Just a quick reminder, there's a free PDF on the website where I'll go through all these phrasal verbs. The first phrasal verb we're going to look at today or start off with is to start off. And to start off means to begin something. How do you start off your morning? How do you begin your morning? I wish I could say that I start off my morning with a meditation and a smoothie bowl that I prepared the night before. But I don't. Quite often I start off my morning in a state of panic. Somebody who's super productive might start off their day by journaling or by making a list of all the things that they need to get done that day. And some people start off their day by going to the gym. Perhaps this is the reason that I'm failing at productivity. I usually start off my day by frantically running around the house, looking for things, trying to remember what I'm meant to be doing that day, waking up the kids, feeding the dog, all that kind of thing. I've got an idiom for this to describe me in the mornings. I run around like a headless chicken. So the second phrasal verb that we're going to look at is to write down. And when you write something down, it means that you record it in writing. So those of us who journal might write down their thoughts every morning when they wake up. Others might write down a to-do list. Writing things down is a good way of keeping track of information. Now, I'm quite old, so I'm still in the habit of physically writing things down. But I know a lot of people record things on their phone, in which case you could say you note something down. So do you find that either noting or writing things down helps you with productivity? Tell me in the comments. The next phrasal verb that we're going to look at is to sort out. And when you sort something out, it means that you organise something or you resolve something. So when I'm talking about my own personal routine, every morning before I start lessons, I sort out a plan for what I'm teaching that day, who I'm working with, and what we're going to look at. Sorting things out means that I'm prepared for my lessons. You can also sort out problems, which means resolve problems. And obviously a lot of us encounter problems in both our professional and our personal lives, problems that need sorting out. Sometimes sorting out problems can get in the way of productivity because the problems are unexpected and we hadn't allowed time for these things. Another similar phrasal verb here is to map out. And when you map something out, it means that you plan it in detail. In a work setting, you might say that you need to map out your strategy for the coming quarter. When people talk about mapping something out, you'd usually imagine them sitting down and concentrating hard on planning something. Next is to dive into, and you usually dive into a swimming pool, into water, but you can also dive into a book or into a project. And when you dive into something, it means that you start something really enthusiastic. I came away from the conference really excited to dive into my next project. Next phrasal verb is to break down, and when you break something down, it means that you separate it into smaller parts. Let's break down this project into more manageable tasks. When it comes to productivity, breaking things down is often quite important, I think, because sometimes it can feel overwhelming, and when you break things down, it seems more manageable. The next phrasal verb is to deal with something. And when you deal with something, it means that you take action in order to achieve something or solve a problem. I need to deal with this problem before I get started on this morning's lessons. You can also deal with someone, and when you deal with someone, you talk with them or meet with them, especially in a work setting. In my working life, I usually deal with people who want to improve their confidence speaking English as a second plus language. Next, we have to work out or to figure out something. And this is all about problem solving. I need to work out or figure out a plan to handle this issue. When I meet a new student, I like to work out early on how they want to use English in their daily lives. Next is to set up something. And setting something up is organising or arranging something. I need to set up a meeting. I need to set up a time for us to get together and catch up properly. Now, productivity isn't about doing everything on your own. Sometimes it's necessary to reach out to other people to get some help. I'll reach out to the client to confirm the details of the meeting. I usually reach out to a student before our first conversation class. Next is to follow up. And to follow up means to check the progress of something. So for an example, I need to follow up on the emails that I sent last week. Next is to go over something, and going over something is reviewing or checking something. I just need to go over these documents before the presentation. You might want to go over the vocabulary that we're looking at in today's lesson by downloading the PDF on my website. Next is to get back to something, and when you get back to something, it means you return to something. I'll get back to work after I've had a lunch break. Or you could say, I'll get back to you later this afternoon when I get 5 minutes. Finally, we're going to wrap up today's English lesson with the phrasal verb to wrap up. To wrap up means to finish. Let's wrap up this meeting. I think we've covered everything now. I'm a bit short of time. We need to wrap up now. So that's it for today. If you can think of any other good English phrasal verbs of talking about the subject of productivity, then write them in the comments below. Or if you've got any productivity tips, please share them. If you enjoyed this video, then please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I create new videos every week. Take care and I'll see you next time. Bye.